Welcome one, welcome all for another one cast. Oh, actually, already the two teams meeting there in the bush, and the first split is going to go over to Leona. And about to get onto Evelyn. Nice blitzcrank hook over the wall. That may actually be a kill return. No, Gragas manages to get out. LeBlanc actually dashes after him, gets a kill. Now tries to get out with the flash over the wall. Evelyn still in trouble. Lucian picked up Lee Sin on the backside of that. Evelyn flashes over the wall, but Leona is waiting. Now that's only the LeBlanc clone going down there. Evelyn still trying to escape. Lucian is sitting over the wall, so Leona has to back off. And overall, it's a 2-for-1 in favor of the blue team. Whew. Okay, so welcome one, welcome all to another one of Goose the Grey solo casts. Today I am going to cast Game 5 of Chaox's Challenger promotion matches. He's won 2, lost 2. This game will decide whether he's allowed to enter the ranks of the Challenger tier in League of Legends. As we did just see, the blue team actually invading onto the red one. They walked in all around here through the blue buff area, then circled around behind and actually met the red team that was sitting in this bush. They did end up coming out ahead just because Lucian was able to chase down Lee Sin. So for now, we have a 2-to-1 kill advantage in favor of the blue team. But Lucian, of course, with that 1 kill after the gold, bonuses for early on kills have been reduced. He's not been able to gain too many advantages just yet, only an extra ward and a couple of potions most likely, but Wukong actually taking a lot of punishment from this Garen, and he's already put down the ignite. That's not going to finish him off because Wukong did still have a health potion and was high enough on HP, but he's so low, he's already bullied out of the lane, and Garen already doing a lot of work for himself. Now 8-2 already in CS. Meanwhile in mid, Gragas 9-3 in CS, bottom lane 10 on Caitlyn, 6 on Lucian. He was of course late to the lane. And finally, we can take a look at this game as they've calmed down a little bit. No, that blitzcrank hook only hitting a minion. The Shield of Daybreak coming down onto blitzcrank. Caitlyn putting down a nice amount of damage. And Garen still trying to beat back Wukong. Wukong, of course, did at least start with a flask and health potions, so he's got a lot of sustain and will be able to stick around, but he's so low he cannot actually CS right now. So Lee Sin's trying to come up there just as Garen put down the ward. So Lee Sin not quite able to make anything happen in that lane. And I really like the fact that the blue team already put down a pink ward down here in the river. It's a really nice thing to do because that's going to live for quite a while with Lee Sin up in the top half of the map. And it gives them even more vision. And of course, if Lee Sin doesn't walk through that bush, it may just live forever and a day, as pink wards are known to do in current days. But right now, both of these junglers completing their first jungle clear, very even movements on the two of them. Is Garen already recalling with only 13 CS? What's he going to pick up? Is that just going to be... Oh, it's just going to be a Dorn's Blade plus health potion buy. So very early on, but he did bully Wukong that hard that he was able to afford it. And Wukong now, after the lane pushed into his tower, was able to farm at least a little bit of CS. So he's not quite as far behind anymore. This item advantage early on will definitely put Garen ahead a little bit. There's a Shield of Daybreak onto Blitzcrank as well. Nice amount of damage, and Lee Sin on the backside there. The red team can now just be careful. Oh, I think they saw him though. I think they know that he's around. There's the ward, and now they do definitely know that Lee Sin was around the corner. So the blue team just going to be safe. And be very, very careful as Wukong takes another big amount of damage. Close to Garen's tower. Garen with that spin to win and the silence, of course, doing a lot of damage very early on. Especially with that Dorn's Blade in there now as well. It's not exactly the nicest thing to go up against. Now here's Evelyn this time around in the bottom lane, and that's a nice timing as the Zenith Blade lands onto Lucian, and she is right there. The Power Fist from Blitzcrank knocked Leona up, and he still does have his Rocket Grab. Now going on to Caitlyn, but here's Lee Sin coming around the corner as well. It is a 3 versus 2 right now, with Evelyn actually going very low. That Sonic Wave landed, but Lee Sin decides not to go that far in. Was a kill over to the blue team though for now. Chaox on his Caitlyn, trying to do a little more damage over to Lucian. Red Cat able to survive that easily though, is going to stay safe. Is Gragas in the mid lane. LeBlanc had just gone back, picked up an extra Dorn's Ring, and now she's back. Gragas going to go down here so very, very low. And LeBlanc, even standing in the tower with that ignite on him, was able to pick up the kill. Nicely done by her. She went back, picked up a second Dorn's Ring, came back to lane, and Gragas, who had stayed around, just got completely taken out. He is 19 CS up on LeBlanc and now finished that Chalice of Harmony as well, so he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with in that mid lane, but for now, LeBlanc's got a little bit of an advantage. Already level 6, Lee Sin coming around, taking so much damage. Evelyn now here as well. She's not level 6 yet, though. Can she keep this low on long enough? Yes, she can, and LeBlanc picks up the kill. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we do have the two fighting again, but Wukong with a nice juke into the bush is going to survive, whereas Garen goes down. So despite that early bullying out of Garen, Wukong actually coming out ahead in that lane, now not only with a 4 CS advantage, but also that kill in his back pocket. LeBlanc is roaming up though, and I don't think Wukong can survive this unless he makes a flashy escape into the river. He's still got his flash up, so that was a non-intended pun, but we'll see what happens. LeBlanc now in that minion wave is pretty low herself, and here he goes in stealth, and the two of them actually juke one another, both going in a different bush, but there's a Cyclone with a flash out of Wukong, and he completely misses LeBlanc because she went back into the other bush, and now Wukong is kind of caught out in no man's land because there's Gragas coming, Garen coming back into the lane, of course Lee Sin coming around as well, but with a nice ward. LeBlanc catches him out already, that Nimbus strike not quite getting her. There's Lee Sin at least picking up the return kill, but Garen got the kill onto Wukong as well, so that's a 1-for-1 exchange, and now Lee Sin has to try and get out of there, keep himself alive. Nicely done though, that was an interesting little exchange. And we see that Wukong actually picked up a pickaxe on the back of that death, so he's just gotten a lot more attack damage. He's probably building towards that Ravenous Hydra, which is going to be really, really powerful on him. He'll be able to do a lot of damage. Garen, of course, only got a longsword. He didn't have quite as much gold this time around. At least he picked up a kill now, so he's going to be able to build that into what might probably be a brutalizer the next time around. Meanwhile, we do have both mid laners going over to get the respective blue buffs, but with all that time LeBlanc spent roaming towards the top lane, Gragas was still able to free farm in mid, and he's now got a 31 CS advantage over LeBlanc. That is huge. That's like basically 1.5 kills right there that he can afford to give up and still stay even in gold, and it's going to be really nice for him. Of course, LeBlanc did pick up a total of 3 kills in this game so far, so LeBlanc's still about 400 gold up on him, but at least he's trying to make the best of it. LeBlanc is a very mobile mid laner and has a very easy time roaming across the map, and right now actually Garen finished off Lee Sin. For some reason the spectator didn't want to watch that, but I can actually go back. Right, I'm not casting a live game, so I can just go here and then cast from there on out. So he did place a ward earlier, and now he's waiting there because he knows Lee Sin is coming back around. He knew that he had just done blue, and now Lee Sin is there, and Garen just turns around. He was already on his way back to lane, but Lee Sin, only level 5 still, takes a lot of damage from red, and now Garen goes in, gets him very, very low. There's the ultimate, and he does get the red buff for himself as well. Nicely done by Garen. Just good timing, and that ward there, beautifully used. And Lee Sin, that is why even at later stages in the game, you should always cut the buff into your bush. Here we go with another engagement in the bottom lane though. Zenith Blade lands as well as the Shield of Daybreak, and a nice pilt over to Peacemaker. Does a lot of damage onto Lucian. He tries to return some of it. There is the rocket grab actually onto Leona, and she's forced to flash out. Now with LeBlanc and Evelyn roaming towards the bottom lane, the red team decides to back off, but LeBlanc and Evelyn actually just wanting to get the dragon, and it does look like they'll be able to. Evelyn going very, very low here, and if Gragas would react, he could actually try and contest this because Evelyn is so low she would die from the explosive cast alone. But as it stands, Gragas did not move at all, and he just pushed that wave into the middle tower at least. But the dragon goes over to the blue team uncontested, now 7-3 in kills for them. They've got 1,200 gold lead, nothing major yet, and Lee Sin goes over the wall behind Lucian and Blitzcrank, and he is there. Caitlyn's around the corner. The Sonic Wave lands onto Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank going pretty low. Lee Sin still quite alive and kicking. There's the Dragon's Rage kick onto Lucian actually, and the rocket grab onto the tower. The knockup is there as well, and that's going to be the kill. Picked up onto Blitzcrank. Nicely done. Just knowing what to do when and really luring Lee Sin out of position and then getting him into that tower range with a nice knockup on the back of that, picking up the kill. And with that, Lucian went back and now has 2 components off that Trinity Force already, the Phage and the Zeal, completed by him at only 10 minutes into the game. And then we see Wukong actually picked up a second pickaxe. He just wants straight up damage, but right now he's getting out traded pretty hard. Garen with that red buff does a lot of damage to him, and Wukong with that Ignite taking is forced to retreat. Don't think that was the best of pickups because, I mean, while he does have a lot of attack damage now, Garen with that Brutalizer does a lot of damage back, and he's quite the opponent to fight in that matchup right there. So Wukong in a little bit of a tight spot, but he does still have that crystalline flask, so he's going to be able to sustain himself back up a little bit. Lee Sin's hanging around the corner, but was spotted by a ward, so I don't think he's going to be able to make anything happen. While we do have little skirmishes in mid, and LeBlanc actually coming out ahead on all of them. Which is, I mean, she does have an extra Doran's Ring and Amp Tome, but Gragas just not able to land those body slams and barrels at the right times. So overall, he just gets out-traded. Now with Evelyn moving up to this top lane, this could be a very interesting 2v2. Wukong only at about 3/4 of his HP. He goes in with a Cyclone. Garen already going very low, but Wukong kind of out of position. Nice Dragon's Rage kick, actually, to get Garen away from Wukong. And now the two of them just have to try to get onto the tower and survive this. Evelyn gets the first kill onto Lee Sin. Not going to be able to get the second one, but Gragas, meanwhile, was able to pick up a kill onto LeBlanc. Nicely done by him, so 9-5 in kills. That was overall a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of the red team. They're making their comeback, so to speak. And of course, in the bottom lane, Chaox farming very, very nicely. And even though there are 2 kills on Lucian, she's got a 20 CS advantage and has that BF sword. So she's pretty strong if she's allowed to just auto-attack Zenith Blade onto Blitzcrank. There's a solar flare actually going down. The ultimate from Blitzcrank came out as well, but Caitlyn does a nice amount of damage. Now, the rocket grab barely missing Chaox. That was really, really close. Ace in the hole, of course, not available. So they're not able to finish off that kill. But with this advantage, now the red team able to push down on this bottom lane and possibly get a little bit of damage on that tower, or with a nice pilt over Peacemaker like that one, soon possibly pick up a kill. Leona's rather weak against targets that sit under a tower, so it'll be interesting to see whether the red team goes really aggressive and tries to dive this. She's pretty low, so I'd not recommend it. And I think the red team will just back off from that and stay safe for themselves. They don't want to give up any unnecessary advantages. Like with that rocket grab kill onto Lee Sin earlier, they're probably wary of it right now. But Leona was looking for the engage, did use the Eclipse, and there she goes actually with a nice Shield of Daybreak as well. Blitzcrank solo, one more hit. And that's actually the supports traded. Leona went a little bit low, got pulled in again, and the Ignite was put on her as well. So that's now a 1-for-1 trade again in that bottom lane. Both of the AD carries picking up those kills. 3-0-2 on Lucian already, 3-2-1 on LeBlanc. And a 2-3-2 Garen in the top lane. Right now, there are 3 members on the blue team that are getting very, very strong. And the red team has to be careful not to let them snowball too far ahead, because else the comeback will be really, really difficult. Oh wow, Wukong actually going in with a Cyclone, doing a lot of damage to Garen. Never mind my words from earlier, the Flash is going to be picking up the kill with that Hydra active. Actually, it's not the Hydra, it's just the Tiamat for the time being. But yeah, he built one of the pickaxes into the Tiamat, so suddenly he was quite a force to be reckoned with and was able to dish out a lot of damage with just 2 Nimbus strikes, each one of them chunking for about 1/3 of Garen's HP, and all of a sudden he surprised him, took him out, so that's a nice kill onto Wukong. Now farming comfortably up in that top lane, has about a 25 CS advantage, and of course as we move towards late game teamfights, Garen will more likely be a brick wall, but Chaox almost getting himself caught out there. There's a solar flare. They're going on to Blitzcrank. The threaded needle from Caitlyn actually going on to Lucian. If Blitzcrank had intercepted that, he would have died sooner, but that's still going to be the kill. Going over to Lee Sin. Red team making a nice counter gank there in the bottom lane. And now Gragas getting himself kind of caught out. Nice explosive barrel. Explosive task onto Evelyn, almost getting her killed under that tower. He does a lot of damage to her and gets her pretty low, both her and LeBlanc, but he's not able to focus. One of them goes down without a retaliation kill, but the bottom tower was traded as well, or rather was killed as well. So it's 1-0 in towers. Gold dead even between the two teams, and kills 3 in favor of the blue team, but that doesn't matter much right now because the red team is farming better. You can see they have a 40 CS advantage in mid. They have a 20 CS advantage in top and a 20 CS advantage in bottom lane. Now, they're about 25 CS behind in the jungle, but the other lanes balance that out quite nicely. And I mean, we even had a dragon go over to the blue team. It is going to respawn in 20 seconds, and that's really where the gold lead will be decided. Whichever team picks that up will be ahead for the next few minutes, unless we see a really big turnaround fight, of course. That can always happen and actually swing the gold in favor of one of these two teams, especially with the red team. They have a beautiful team fighting team with that Leona solo flare and that Gragas explosive cask and that Wukong cyclone. You know, Caitlyn laying damage across all of that. But right now we have 2 members of the red team, Lee Sin and Wukong, actually up in the top lane trying to dive this. The Dragon's Rage kick was already there. There's a cyclone and they're going back in. They got the kill onto Garen, But meanwhile, bottom outer tower was traded by the blue team, and now they're going to go for Dragon. And with Lee Sin up in this top lane having to recall, there's nothing the red team can do about that. I mean, Gragas can try to contest this, but LeBlanc is moving up, may catch out Lee Sin. No, she's not going to be able to. Now it's up to Leona, Caitlyn, and Gragas to steal this away. Are they going to be able to? Yes, they will! Leona actually gets it! That is incredible. Nice rocket grab onto Caitlyn, but it's not going to be enough. Blitzcrank, you're caught in the pit. Go down to Gragas, and that was a huge play from the red team. Not only did they get top tower, and are even maybe going to get away from LeBlanc, actually turn it around. My god, the damage, and Lee Sin still goes in, is going to pick up the kill. Is the tower going to finish him off? No, not yet, but here comes Garen, wants that kill, puts down the ignite, but the safeguard to the ward may keep Lee Sin alive. He still had a red potion as well, and Garen actually not able to pick up that kill. Now Wukong in quite a chunk of trouble because Evelyn's coming up as well. He's maybe getting himself caught out a little bit. He's kind of low on mana. Is silenced for the time being as well. Here's Evelyn. There's a kill over the wall, but Caitlyn is around to save the day. One kill onto Gragas. Are they still going to be able to get onto Evelyn as well? The flash and Cask do not quite catch her out. She's at 30 HP. Is someone still going to be able to take her out? It's just going to be one hit from anyone, and there comes Caitlyn. Caitlyn's getting very close. Chaox, are you going to be able to do it? Yes, but she actually does manage to turn around, pick up Lee Sin in return. So overall, after all is said and done, we're at 13 to 13, and suddenly a 3-1 turret advantage in favor of the red team, with about 2,600 gold in their favor. Lucian is going to do a nice amount of damage to this middle tower, especially with that Trinity Force, of course, proccing every now and then, and Blitzcrank and LeBlanc are on his backside coming in to reinforce him. So this middle tower most likely going down in favor of the blue team. Yes, it will. At least evening it up a little bit in terms of tower advantages. And the middle tower is very important, as it provides a lot of map vision. But once again, that was a phenomenal Dragon steal. And not only did they get the top tower, they also got Dragon and a kill, and the middle tower and the bottom tower. They just got a whole bunch of advantages out of that. The red team skyrocketed, or rather flung themselves ahead in this gold lead right now. 1,800 gold still, despite that middle tower going down. Both of the supports actually going for the Sightstone and then a fast Talisman of Ascension. Oh, Wukong, you're catching yourself with Lucian, and Lucian has no way to get away from that Cyclone. So much damage coming out of Wukong. He did not even use the Ravenous Hydra active that he does have now. He uses it to wave clear, push this bottom lane all the way into the tower, and the red team with that ace in the hole trying to get onto LeBlanc, but there's a tank Evelyn actually standing in front of it. Eats that hit with pleasure, and now two inner towers being aggressed on the bottom and mid, as Garen is still up in the top lane trying to push that. Zenith Blade goes in towards LeBlanc, and now Leona maybe getting herself caught out. Nice solo flare, but Evelyn picking up that kill with, no, not her ultimate, just with a regular hate spike. But she's gonna say thank you very much. Middle inner tower did go down in favor of the red team, though. They managed to take that out, and Wukong still working the bottom one. So they're going pretty low now. Blitzcrank is getting himself caught out. There he goes, and Blitzcrank, oh, still surviving, and that beautiful rocket grab actually onto Wukong, almost taking him out. Now LeBlanc comes around, picks up that kill. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Lee Sin not able to escape from three members. Will he still be able? Oh my god, he may actually be able to live as Caitlyn comes in, picks up the first kill. Are they going to be able to pick up anyone else? Evelyn comes around, but she's completely out of mana. She can't really do anything, just gets hit up by Gragas, and Caitlyn gets taken out. The ignite was on that as well. The explosive cast comes out, and now LeBlanc so very low. That nice pulled over Peacemaker still caught on, and that next hit is going to finish her off. Chaox making huge moves here, 4-0-5. Beautiful play for his team, and of course Lee Sin escaping from that was ridiculous. So at this point though, Garen stayed up in the top lane, got two towers for his team at least. It was the top outer and top inner traded for the middle and bottom inner towers for the red team. I still think they're going to like it because they picked up a bunch of kills along with it, and now Garen will have a much harder time split pushing top. Once you've gotten the outer and the inner tower, really split pushing gets a lot harder because the inhibitor tower is so close to the enemy base, or is basically the enemy's base, that you have to be really, really careful about where you go, because you can very easily get caught out. Or the enemy team can just make calls and make plays everywhere else on the map, because you will take a long time to get anywhere. Lee Sin is going to get caught out by Blitzcrank. Nice rocket grab, and he is silenced. He's going to dash to his ward and is able to get away. The Talisman of Ascension used by the blue team as well, and now Leona and Lee Sin are coming around. Leona sweeps that. They knew that there was a ward there, else Blitzcrank wouldn't have been able to get onto Lee Sin. But here go Wukong up against Garen again, but LeBlanc is coming in on the backside of that. Wukong actually going on to her, does a nice amount of damage. There's the ultimate out of Garen, and the pickup by LeBlanc nicely done. Now Lee Sin finding himself in all amounts of trouble. Culling actually coming across, not quite able to finish him off, but he's so low, he's probably not going to be able to escape from this. Gragas was in base. Nicely done there. Not going to the ward. Baited out the Blitzcrank hook, and that may be enough for him to get away. It does look like he's going to be able to. Gragas trying to get onto LeBlanc, actually gets a nice explosive cascade, but now with Lucian, nice solar flare right onto Lucian, but Evelyn and LeBlanc pick up Gragas, and now Leona in all sorts of trouble, completely out of position, all alone on her own. Nicely done by the blue team. Blitzcrank making the plays here for his team, and that's 3 members currently dead for the red team. That could be the call for the blue team to try and attempt this Baron. Lee Sin is alive, so the jungler is there for the red team, but he just used a smite. It is not available, and Evelyn still does have hers, so it's going to be quite hard. Leona is dead this time, so she can steal it away. Caitlyn trying to pick off LeBlanc, and that's actually enough to force the blue team off of Baron. Nicely done there. Wukong still chasing after Evelyn. They did have vision on it still. So for now, the blue team running away in full retreat, and Wukong still chasing. Almost gets LeBlanc and Evelyn. Not quite good enough, though. Didn't have his flash up, so he couldn't use that to get on top of him. And for now, things normalizing a little bit. It's quite the heated exchange, and the blue team almost managed to capitalize hugely off of it. In the end, didn't quite work out as planned. There are only 10 seconds remaining on Wukong's ultimate. Of course, he didn't have that last time either, but Evelyn getting herself caught out. No, actually, it's Lee Sin that gets caught out because there was help around from the blue team. Both Garen and Lee Sin's dead. And Blitzcrank were around. So while the red team picked up Dragon, Lee Sin got taken out on the top half of the map. Now the rest of the teams go fight. Wukong catches out LeBlanc, does so much damage. The Ignite is still ticking. Is that going to be enough? Yes, it will. Wukong picks up 1. Here come Gragas and the rest of the team. Garen is very low. Flashes over the wall. Lucian from the side trying to do a little bit of damage. Gragas still chasing down Garen. You can't catch him. Garen is pretty fast once he activates that movement speed boost. It's Leona almost catching onto Blitzcrank, but that's now the red team with a whole nice chunk of advantages. They just picked off LeBlanc. She cannot allow that to happen because Wukong does damage. He not only has that Ravenous Hydra, he also has a Last Whisper. The one thing I don't like about the red team's composition is they don't have a true tank. They have Lee Sin, Wukong, and Leona, who all are fairly beefy. But if LeBlanc catches any of them out, she'll still do a lot of damage. Of course, in exchange, both Wukong and Lee Sin do a lot of damage themselves. And if they catch LeBlanc out of position, she just gets demolished. So, right now, looking across the map, they did take out the top inner as well. So 6 towers down in favor of the red team, and Caitlyn did push that bottom lane in. Lucian is going to say thank you very much for bringing the wave to me, farm that up for himself. And both teams teetering on the edge right here a little bit. Gorg is going to spot that ward there in the bush. Going to take that out. Ooh, nice dodge off the rocket grab. And Caitlyn now sitting over the wall. There's a ward in that red buff bush as well. And Evelyn's still trying to take that down. The Zenith Blade not quite connecting. But Leona, you're alone. And that's a lot of enemies. Now there comes the Solar Flare and the fight connects. The explosive cast goes in. Evelyn kind of out of position, going pretty low. LeBlanc on the backside, trying to get onto Wukong. Wukong going solo, but still almost taking Evelyn with him. But that's the first kill, and now the red team in full retreat. Gragas flashing away. Garen's still pretty healthy. All the members on the blue team actually quite healthy. Lee Sin blinking. Gragas blinking. Leona was blinking until just a moment ago. And Caitlyn's completely out of position. Still trying to pick up Blitzcrank, trying to do whatever he can. Chaox, you are a dead man with no hope. Not going to be able to pick up anything. Just going to go down. Does as much damage as he still could. That's 500 gold going over to Lucian. Not the target they wanted to give that to. He's already got the Trinity Force and building towards his Bloodthirster at this point. Has that Vam Scepter already. And Caitlyn's got the Bloodthirster and the Phantom Dancers herself. Lee Sin catches out LeBlanc once more. Nice Sonic Wave and Dragon's Rage kick. Actually, the Sonic Wave was dodged, but the Dragon's Rage landed. He's still chasing onto her, but the change landed. There's the flash, and then actually the Crippling Strike, slowing her down a little bit. Leona still going onto her, does pick her up. Nicely done with that Eclipse and the Ignite. Now Garen out of position in the middle of the enemy team is going to try and run away, but the Shield of Daybreak is there. He's going to get taken out by a Gragas Barrel, and this is the time for the red team to make the call for Baron. They've taken out not only the enemy mid, but also the enemy top laner and tank. So all that's left is this jungle tank Evelyn. There's not enough damage left on the blue team to really thwart this. So if the red team can make their move quickly enough, that's a free Baron for them right there. Wukong trying to steal away that blue buff. Gragas going to pick that up. Blitzcrank not having a word in on that one. Evelyn is hanging around on the outside. Caitlyn finally managed to get with her team. Of course, she had just died, so she was a little bit late. Evelyn sitting over the wall, puts down that ward. Here comes the culling across, doing some damage to Caitlyn, but Baron is solo. Is that going to be still? No, it's not. And there's the Cyclone from Wukong flashes in. They're going to catch out Lucian. That huge amount of damage with the Solar Flare and the Explosive Cast takes him out very, very quickly. The Sonic Wave lands onto Evelynn. She's in a lot of trouble trying to run towards the enemy's base. She's just stalling at this point, but she's going to get taken out. There's a big blue wave in the bottom lane, but the red team should just be able to ignore that and rush down mid. Wukong thought about going top, but it does look like they make the call and just travel down mid. They've still got Evelynn down for 20 seconds. Lucian is down for another 10. And they're pretty powerful right now. And there's the rocket grab over the wall. Almost landed on Caitlyn. Not quite good enough though. Chaox walking past it. There's the flash Zenith Blade actually onto LeBlanc. There's the Shield of Daybreak not quite connecting, and there wasn't any Solar Flare to put on there this time around. So nice try, and another rocket grab, narrowly missing Chaox. Blitzcrank really on the lookout for Caitlyn, not quite able to do it. And here's LeBlanc going solo. Is that red buff going to be enough? No, he actually gets cleansed by the Minghold's Crucible, and that's a kill onto Lee Sin from Lucian. Nicely done. And now they have to try and get away. It wasn't the red buff, it was the burn. Nice. Oh my god, that explosive cast almost catching someone out. And now Garen finally going to get taken out. The rocket grab landing onto Leona. That's not the target they wanted. There was a solo flare onto Lucian, and they do almost manage to get him. Instead, Blitzcrank also gets taken out. Lucian so low. The red team still on the full-on offensive. Caitlyn going under the tower is actually going to get snared by the LeBlanc chain. Super low. LeBlanc going to get picked up, and Chaox flashes out of the tower. Is going to be able to survive. Gragas, meanwhile, in the enemy base, does get almost taken out by Lucian. Here's Evelynn finally picking him up. Wukong is going to get the return kill onto her. Oh, is that shield going to be enough? I don't think so. Wukong picking that one up. Going to be quite happy. So overall, 27-23, 9,000 gold lead now in favor of the red team. Chaox, can it be true? Are you going to make Challenger? That would be incredible. We'd have yet another Challenger player. And I'd really say, Chaox, you deserve it, because you've been playing phenomenally well. Not only in this, but also in some of the other games. 7-1-8 at this point. Bloodthirst with Phantom Dancers and Last Whisper. With those Berserker Greaves down there. Phenomenal Caitlyn play. And at this point, the red team really with a lot of force behind them. The blue team has to figure out something to try and come back in this, and it's probably going to be the dragon that's spawning in 10 seconds going over to them, because Wukong is recalling, Caitlyn is recalling, Leona and Lee Sin are sort of out of position, but the blue team also rather moving towards the top lane than the dragon, so who knows? It's up in just about a second. Gragas and Lee Sin going to focus on that blue buff first, but then they might move over to dragon right afterwards. Lucian is around the corner, probably going to place a ward. Not even. He's just going down to the bottom lane. Him showing there will actually enable to the red team to just rush down that dragon. Leona and Wukong on the lookout for a pick there. Not quite going to be able to get it. But the middle inhibitor is exposed in favor of the red team. There goes the dragon. Lee Sin dashing over the wall to Gragas. But Wukong and Leona are very forward about this. They want to catch out Lucian. Instead, there are a lot of blue members, and Caitlyn isn't quite with the team yet. And here they go. They catch out Lucian. Nice explosive cast. Keeps him in place for long enough. That barrel going to pick him up. He did use the culling, but it wasn't good enough. He was just out of position, overextended. Nice Dragon's Rage kick onto Blitzcrank. He's going to get taken out before even being able to flash over that wall. And now we have a 5-man, very healthy red team with a lot of Baron buffs on them, pushing down onto this onto the spot lane inhibitor tower. The mid lane inhibitor is under fire from Gragas and Wukong. They're quite happily going to be able to pick that one up, and now it's the red team sieging down on the bottom tower. The tower goes down. The second inhibitor may fall as well. They could try and push for the win here. They still have 10 seconds on Lucian and Blitzcrank. Are they going to be able to do it? They're pushing onwards. LeBlanc doing a lot of damage. Here comes Evelynn from the back of the fight. Caitlyn going pretty low, but they do turn around. Evelynn going very low. She doesn't quite have the damage to take anyone out. Ignite ticking down on Lee Sin. That's going to be a kill. Nice flash out, but that means Wukong gets caught by the Blitzcrank hook. There's the explosive cast. That's one kill. Leona going in with the Zenith Blade. That's the second kill. Blitzcrank still alive on the retreat, and Caitlyn trying to pick up LeBlanc. It's not quite going to be enough. The Piltover Peacemaker almost picks someone up. Evelynn is there to try and guard her team, so the red team has to retreat. Chaox, you're not quite Challenger yet, not quite succeeding. Did pick up another kill and 2 assists in that fight though. And Gragas 954 is also quite scary. That rocket grab there over the wall could have been a possibility, did not get used. And now Gragas has to be careful, has to retreat here because there's a Blitzcrank on the hunt along with, oh my god! That was half of LeBlanc's health chunked away by that Piltover Peacemaker. Chaox, you do damage. Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper, and another pickaxe in there as well. That was very unexpected, and Gragas nicely done on the retreat there to still dish out a little bit of damage onto LeBlanc, and then Caitlyn with that finisher, threading the needle around all the other members of the blue team that were standing around, picking up that kill. So 2 inhibitors down now. Baron is up in under 2 minutes. The inhibitors will still be down at that point. And it's also the bottom one that's down, along with the mid inhibitor. So the red team will have quite a nice window of time to try and get onto that Baron. Establish their vision dominance now in the next 2 minutes, and then just pick it up easily. As Lee Sin tries to steal away another blue buff from the blue team, and Blitzcrank is coming close. Is he going to be able to get it? Nope. Lee Sin is easily out of there. Puts down a ward for good measure. Nicely done. Does have that sight stone, of course, so that's a nice amount of vision on him. Leona has one as well. Has a Sunfire Cape on top of that as LeBlanc once again gets caught out. That ult over Peacemaker. Not even. I meant the ace in the hole doing so much damage. And Lee Sin, of course, using that Sonic Wave to great effect, always following her wherever she dashes to. And this is now the red team 5v4 situation. Chaox going up to the top lane, farming the minion wave, or rather pushing the minion wave. They want the third inhibitor tower and inhibitor, but Wukong and Lee Sin just going right for the base. The 2 Ravenous Hydras do a lot of damage to the minion wave, so they're able to clear those out very, very quickly. And Gragas and Caitlyn are pushing down onto the top tower. Blitzcrank may be able to get himself caught here. Lee Sin decides otherwise, goes over to his teammate, and that's the top inhibitor tower also going to fall. Look at this, Wukong is down in the bottom half of the enemy's base, just completely by himself, pushes that bottom lane even further. There's a Solar Flare coming out, only catches Garen, though. Gragas kind of out of position. Beautiful Zanya's in the middle of everyone, so low but still able to survive, and now comes Evelyn, at least finishes him off, but the tower went down, the inhibitor went down as well. Evelyn still chasing. Where's Wukong? He's down in the bottom half. LeBlanc and Evelyn, both of them pretty low. Wukong picked up 1 kill, 2 kill, 3 kills onto Caitlyn. Actually, 2 kills onto Caitlyn, 1 onto Wukong. That threading the needle not quite working out this time, but that's going to be GG. Lee Sin going under the Nexus, onto the fountain. But that's the Nexus going down in favor of the red team, 36-27. After 32 minutes and 39 seconds into this game, Chaox, you are challenger. Congratulations. You made it 3-2 in your placement games, and you played some really fun matches. With an 80 Gragas in there, sadly you lost that one, but your Gangplank, for example, was really fun to watch against that Jax. And this game, 11-1-11, what more do you want? That's about as good as it gets. So congratulations again, and to everyone else, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I enjoyed making it, that's for sure, because this was a phenomenal game to watch. And if you did, please feel free to like the video, subscribe to my channel, because I will be doing more and more League of Legends casts from Challenger and Diamond 1 players all the time, as well as casting tournaments on the weekends. You can always tune in for those. I'll also put my Twitter info in the description. You can follow that for any updates on new videos or tournaments I do, stuff like that. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you around again. Have a good one.